Hey, I'm Tommy Chong. Welcome to High on Homegrown.
Yes, everybody, and welcome to this week's Grow Guides from High on Homegrown, the Cannabis podcast from PercysGrowroom.com. In this week's Grow Guides, we're talking about pros and cons of growing your own cannabis. And though there are many pros, there are some cons as well. And you just take these into consideration before you start to grow your own. As you'll hear throughout this episode, overall, there's way more pros than there are cons, and we do recommend anybody who wants to grow their own cannabis to grow their own cannabis. And if you need any help doing that, then you can head over to PercysGrowroom.com, sign up to the forum. It's all free. There's loads of cool people over there who are more than happy to help new growers and experienced growers grow their own cannabis. So if you want to start growing your own, head over to PercysGrowroom.com and sign up. And if you are growing your own, then head over to Percys Grow Room and sign up. Everybody is welcome there. We'd love to have you over there as part of the community. So if you're not there already, then head over to PercysGrowroom.com and sign up. It's all free, and we guarantee you'll love the place. But anyway, for now, here is the Grow Guides, all about pros and cons. We are joined by the High Ladies. The High Ladies are there to go through this episode with us as well. And we have some awesome listener mail questions at the end. So I'll leave you to the episode, and I'll catch you at the end of this. See you in a bit. What are we talking about again? I hit that mighty pretty hard, man. That was delicious.
Indoor versus outdoor?
No, today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of growing cannabis, because we like to sit here and preach to the choir sometimes and pretend that it's all fun and games, and it is most of the time, but there are bad sides to it as well. So I mean, judging from our own personal experiences, what kind of advice would offer to new growers? What are the good bits about growing cannabis and what are the bad bits about growing cannabis? As simple as that, really. I mean, to start off, one of the biggest things, the biggest benefit of growing your own cannabis is having high quality cannabis. It's just like simple as that, right? Everybody agrees with that.
Definitely. There's nothing quite as good as your own homegrown. Just something about it because you're doing it the way you want it.
That's right.
I think it's being proud, the pride of growing. You know that you took this seed and it was so delicate and it needed you so much. And then if you can manage to get a beautiful plant out of it, that's all you. And every time you smoke it, you're like, I know what's in this. I know it was grown with love. I took a seed and made beauty.
See, and that's another benefit there as well, which it's made with love. You know what's gone into it. You know if it's been sprayed with pesticides, if it's been used with dodgy food, if it's had mold, all these different
salt,
things.
I know if it's organic. I know all about it. Everything.
You've taken that shit from seed up into a harvest, and you know exactly what's happened to it throughout its whole life cycle. And that's not something that you have when you go and buy cannabis from either the legacy market or the legitimate market or wherever, wherever you get it from. If you haven't grown it from start to finish, you don't know what kind of life the cannabis has lived to get to you. So growing your own is just one way to make sure that you know the exact history of your plant.
Definitely will know that.
Mm-hmm.
And another one, which is a big one, to anybody growing in illegal places, that whole 15 minutes around the corner thing that we mentioned in the news.
Oh, the dark alley. Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. And that's it, the dark alley, monkey.
Many people wait for me behind the shop by the dumpster in the back, where everybody else hangs out that are kind of a little bit shady and squirrely. It's like, yeah.
You're going to buy an ounce of cannabis, for example, and that's about £200 here in the UK, real money, sterling pounds, and you're going to go meet some guy round the back of somewhere dodgy, some shady place, and hand him £200 in cash, and he's going to give you cannabis. And if he robs you or fucks you over, gives you fucking tea leaves instead, you can't call the police.
You know what, Mackie, as women, that's so important. Like,
for sure.
There's like an added element to that. Right? Because you don't exactly want to involve a whole lot of other people in your, like, the buying of your illicit product, right? But at the same time, you're like, I kind of have to go with a couple people
I did some crazy shady deals.
Oh,
before
yeah.
it was legal.
Before it was
Like,
legal.
I'll meet some weird dude in his basement apartment.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. The basement apartment dudes, they were always the like, and they would lock the door behind you.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Remember how
Damn.
this place kind of
Yeah, like
does. Yeah.
No, it's something
so-
that we don't even need to worry about as blokes. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he locked the door, so what? It's all good. But as a woman, that must be fucking terrifying. Scary, man.
Yeah,
Scary.
it can be.
Especially like I'm tiny. I am like literally 110 pounds. I'm the size of my 10-year-old son, my 11-year-old son, I mean.
Mm.
So
Someone would just have to sit on Andy.
you just have to blow hard.
But that's hilarious. Speaking of speedos.
That's it. People shouldn't be having to put themselves in these situations, man. It's ridiculous fact that people have to.
Yeah, 100%. So
Growing
yeah, I
your-
guess
Sorry.
growing your own keeps you a little safer, right? And there's that. Like a downside a little bit though. Is that like it can be discouraging if your first grow doesn't, like if you don't produce top-notch quality
Yeah.
cannabis the first time around, like you can get discouraged pretty quickly.
Especially when you see like I follow Cheech and Chong. Why isn't my cannabis plant 15 feet across and high?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get the first grow. You've got to be patient. You're going to get all the problems before you figure out how to deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes some persistence. But you can get all the help you need over on percysgrowroom.com. If anybody has any trouble drawing their first grow, don't be ashamed, man. Come over to Percys and we can help
We've
you out.
all been there. That's just it, So asking questions about how to grow cannabis is what that's what we do.
I've got another good one. Knowing what fucking strain you're smoking.
Yeah.
Well, from the legacy
sort of,
market,
because
sure.
you can mix it up sometimes and put the wrong label in the wrong pot, get things mixed up, but sometimes just about what it is.
I've done that.
Yeah, and I've done that a few times. But
But
most
I
of the
figure
time, you
it's
know
just
what
like you're saying. By the time it's over, by the time it's trimmed and going in the jars, you know your mistake because you recognize the smell.
Yeah.
And if you love something like the way I love my lemon haze,
Mhm.
I've been growing the same strain of plant now for 4 or 5 years, along with other things. But I always grow my lemon haze, and I know her so well. I know the strain so well that after growing her for many years, I know what she wants and what she needs and what I can expect from her.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Like when the seed pops, you can pretty much mark an X on the calendar of when she's going to be ready. You've grown it that many times.
And what were we saying in the chat there? Has anybody got any pros other than the ones we've mentioned so far?
Cost is a big one.
Oh, fucking hell, of course. Damn.
Growing weed, I don't know. You'd have to it's going to depend where you are in the world and your cost of power and water and things like that. But I'd say easily that your cost is going to be maybe about 1/8 or, as much as 1/20th at some places, depending on the scale and your quality of your grow and how much you're spending on stuff and do it, things like that. But your cost is going to be minuscule compared to having to buy it on either a legal market or a legacy market.
And one brought up here from Ballista, which is a good one, is the abundance, because there's that too. You'll have fucking plenty of weed.
Yeah,
And
I mean, almost to the point to where you have to figure out ways to use it or give it away.
Yeah, but
Yes, give it away.
Yeah, giving it away, right? Like we always talk about being a pot fairy.
Yeah.
Right. So like when you have the chance to share your grow,
your bounty,
the bounty
comes back to you. The more you pot fairy, and then you've got a beautiful selection of all sorts of legacy home growers here in Canada, because we can all grow. Everybody, even non-smokers, grow just because they can. And so you can, if you have a nice yield, you can be like, hey, I'll give you an ounce of this, and I'll give you an ounce of that, and it always comes back.
Nice.
I went to the cabin and I came home 3 weeks later with more pot than I'd left with.
And you didn't harvest anything, did you?
No, I didn't harvest anything. I just had visitors like, here's a bag of this, and look at what I harvested.
And when it's somebody's birthday as well, say it's your friend's birthday, you can just give them half an ounce of weed. In the UK, half an ounce of weed is £100. You can just be like, here's 14 grams of weed, man. Enjoy your night. Damn, you're so generous. No, I'm not. That's just it's nothing really. It's just half of a branch of a plant.
Yeah, really.
Well, new growers may not believe that though, because yeah, it does, like it was mentioned, there's a learning curve to growing and things like that. After you take the time and learn it, absolutely, you'll have more than you need, the old never run out of weed thing. Yep. It'll do it.
You get to pick what strain you want. You go to any seed bank, find what strain you want, grow it. You know how it's been grown, what food has been used, if it's had any problems with bugs, mold or mildew, any problems like that, then you know for sure, if it's hermit or not. You just know fucking around. You know what you're getting. You know it's going to be high quality shit, and it is very low priced compared to legacy market or even going to the dispensary. It's an absolute joke, the difference in price.
Even if you balls it up, it's still cheaper.
So I mean that's some of the definite good reasons for you to grow your own. I mean the quality and the price is just the two major selling points right there.
Most home growers, after they get into it at least, will also tell you there's an unseen benefit that you really don't realize when you first start growing. And there's a mental health benefit to nurturing this plant and growing your own medicine. Most home growers will tell you, if I didn't have something growing right now, I think I'd go crazy.
Yep.
I know the feeling, bro.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. So yeah, there's medicine in the growing of the medicine.
100%.
It's a great hobby, man. It's a great hobby.
There have been studies that like having plants around you and nurturing plants in general is very good for mental health.
Yep.
And just having a project to work on every day.
Something that needs you.
Oh,
yeah.
it does.
Something that needs you, that doesn't just want to talk back at you all the time.
It's almost like a pet that you're going to kill. It's like you got another week to live, and I'm taking you down in a week. You're coming down. Oh, you're looking so good.
They're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's a natural life cycle, but I won't go so far as to name them anymore, though. I don't do that.
I do.
I do.
I still cry a little inside when I go cut it down. I'm like,
yeah.
Looks so good.
You know what I mean? It's like
this isn't gonna hurt a bit, sweetheart.
I've still got some in my jar cure in here. Do I really have to kill it today? Do I gotta just keep it another few days? Just one more day.
No, I do feel that way about my micros because those are pets. I mean, they actually do feel like small pets to me.
When you're out of weed and that plant's ready to chop, it's down.
Yeah, right. Done. Over. See ya.
So cons then, man. The bad shit. And there is plenty of bad shit as well. Like somebody mentioned trimming. I'm sure many people who listen to the show know about trimming is not my favorite activity. But, it has to be done, man. You have to do trimming and it's laborious. It takes a long time. And you just it stink. You can't leave the house while you're doing it for the whole period you're doing it.
Yeah, you're sticky and dirty and
I always like starting the trim because I don't know, it's something about it's exciting. It's a harvest. Halfway through it's when I usually had enough of it. And then you get to that last cola you going on it. That's the best bud to trim, the last one.
Two big cons here from Ballista: police and thieves.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of paranoia that goes with growing your own, but I have to say, following the 3 rules, I actually feel less paranoia growing my own than I used to go out trying to buy my own.
Yeah, it's still safer. If you can follow those 3 rules and not tell anybody about it, and nobody's going to find out about it, you don't have to worry about thieves. But this is something you have to worry about when you go out to the legacy market anyway. Are you going to get ripped off this time?
Well, thieves, you may have issues with thieves if you're outdoor growing. I mean, we the ripper season comes around, things happen.
Which is coming soon.
Yeah, we see that here in Canada because so many people grow outdoors during the summertime, right? But for them, like those incidences really are far and few between, right? Like there's not somebody has to know.
Yes, and I always say, like, if you're gonna steal my cannabis, that is such bad karma.
Oh yeah,
like he will come down on you tenfold, and you're gonna steal ready, so you're not even gonna get good stuff. Like,
that's right.
It's so ignorant.
Yep. Oh, honestly, just come and knock on my door. And be like, hey, I noticed that you're growing pot in your backyard. When you harvest it, could I just swing back and grab some from you? And
like, if you fucking pick up a pair of scissors,
Yeah.
Give it to them untrimmed, man. Let them do their own work.
Well, you know what? I did that 2 years ago. I had a huge harvest, and there was a mom in the neighborhood who I knew was having a hard time. She liked cannabis. I said, come over, trim with me for a few hours, and I'll give you an ounce of weed. And she was like, really? I don't know anything about trimming. I'm like, do you know how
A
to
whole
use scissors?
ounce.
Do you know how to hold a pair of scissors? All right, come on over at 10 o'clock when the kids are gone, and
Yeah,
you'll be
I'll teach
learning
you.
a skill and getting paid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A quick pro there from Shonuff. He said, making edibles, oils, hash, and rosin. You know, for sure, having enough excess cannabis to be able to make edibles and oils and shit. That's a beautiful thing. You won't be spending money on that amount of cannabis to turn into oil, but when you got spare shit, you might as well.
If I had to go in and spend $200 an ounce at a dispensary to make my oils for edibles, there's no way in the world I would ever do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Growing your own is the only way you're ever going to have a spare ounce.
And if you do it right, after you get used to it, you'll put an S on the end ounce. You'll have spare ounces.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be gifting ounces.
Yeah.
You know, I'm waiting for that day when we become legal and I can do that, because I would love to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's actually written into our Cannabis Act here in Canada how much you can gift at one time.
Yeah, it's
So they did participate.
stupidness, man.
See that
Stupidness.
Yeah, they did like a, I don't know, like a,
I can
they
give an
thought
ounce.
of it. They thought of it. Yeah, I can give you can't tell me how much I can have in my own house. It's just how much I'm allowed to carry outside of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I can have 100,000 pounds in the house.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So you can
I actually
carry
like
4
that idea.
beers, but you can't carry 8. You can give your friends 2 bottles of vodka, but you can't give them 3. Like,
Yes.
fuck off.
No, you can give them 3, but you can only give them 2 now and 1 later.
Exactly.
That's
You know-
crazy. About it. And if you, like, if I make
So-
100 cookies, because when I do my cookies, I do 96 at a time. How many cookies? Like, how do you
Well,
start? Like,
this is it.
get to the level?
Well, say you know you can only give your friend an ounce of cannabis before you're breaking the law. Then okay, give them an ounce. What's the time limit in between?
There is no time limit.
Yeah,
They can walk
Think
home.
about this. Yeah, go walk across the street, give them an ounce, walk back home, grab another ounce, walk over and
That's
give it
it.
to them then. And you're
And
done.
that's what we do. That's exactly what we do.
what
And you
the
get your
fuck,
daily
man?
steps in at the same time.
It's obscene. It's so stupid.
It's nonsense, is what it is.
It's like the people making these laws have no fucking idea what's going on.
Huh. Oh,
Mm.
that's a standard necessary thing when you join Canadian decision makers.
Oh, yeah.
You have to know nothing about the industry you're entering into.
And you have to shove your head up your ass.
as far as it'll go.
Here in the UK, you have to fuck a pig. Yeah.
Leave your head up its ass.
Inappropriate much.
Yeah, really.
But it's true story. It's true story. I'm not even lying. If you want to be a politician in the UK, there's certain things you have to do.
Okay, I'll take your word on that, and I won't be in politics over there. In
I've
UK
tried. I've
either.
tried. I've ran for office. You know, I ain't doing that.
Fucking pig there.
You've all seen
Came
the
to the-
gimp mask. You know?
Came to the pig portion and Mackie backed out. He's like, not even a gimp mask is going to save me.
He wouldn't do it because the gimp mask wouldn't fit the pig.
Yeah.
What other cons do we have here? You know, let's concentrate, everybody. Be professional.
All right,
Try and be
no
professional.
cons.
Let's
Sorry
concentrate.
about that. All right, startup cost is a con.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're doing home grow, and if you're growing indoors, especially, there is a significant startup cost. However, I'm a significant believer that if you're wise with your spending and you do something like maybe find a place like Percy's that's going to help you through on your first run, that you can recoup almost all, if not all or more of your startup cost on your first grow with your cannabis. But still, it's going to take, a few $100s to get yourself a reasonable startup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
and
it's
you don't-
summertime comes, you can plant outside. Sorry, Annie.
No, I was just gonna say, and sometimes you can rely on like friends, right? Like I've had multiple offers of friends who've been like, "Oh, you should try home, like growing indoors. You'll like it a lot more." I'll lend you my old grow tent
That's perfect.
if you want to try it. And you're like, oh, well,
Or start small.
right. And you just, but you know, like when you have friends, when you have a community, right? And this goes for anything in life. Like when you have a community, it changes the game. So
you're not on your own. And
like,
the majority of experienced growers have equipment that they don't use anymore. You know,
Got a shelf full of lights, man.
Fucking cupboard full of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the
And
way
you
it
don't
is.
necessarily need to start out with like a full-on, a tent and everything. When I did my first indoor grow, a friend who is a legacy grower showed me how to insulate my cold cellar, put a fan in, put in the whole, charcoal system, and I just turned a space within my home instead of buying a whole tent.
Yeah, you just bought some insulation and
Bada bing, bada boom.
Well, and then I think the ladies brought up a good point, though, as far as a pro. There is a community out there, a cannabis community. And when you become a home grower, getting into the cannabis community space is very easy to do. All you have to do is want to be there. And you will get support, and you will easily become part of the cannabis community very fast. Lots
And it's
of
a good
support
community
there.
too, because we've all been shunned for so fucking long. When people get together and you're able to talk about these things, you're not allowed to speak with anybody else about having a community around, and that's a good thing, man. It's being part of something like that.
Yeah, and we've definitely found that with High Ladies within our community here. People have come up to us and been like, "Oh, I heard your show. I grow," and you're like, "Wow, I never would have thought, and I didn't know we had anything in common. Will you be my best friend?"
Yeah.
Will it be my BFF?
You want to come over and see what I'm doing?
Awesome.
I'd love to be like, yeah, come see what I'm up to and help me figure out what's going on with this plant.
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely
you know what?
a
Actually,
pro.
I live with a lot of anxiety and stuff, and being able to grow my own plants has sort of opened me up a little bit. One of my things is that I really don't like people in my house.
Yeah.
I really don't like people in my house. But growing in in a legal space has allowed me to be like, oh yeah, come over and see my plants.
Yeah.
Oh, who cares about my house? Just come see the plant.
Yeah.
And that's all anybody cares about in that space, right?
But it's the opposite here in the UK. People get anxiety when they're growing. I'm not growing right now, and there's a lot less anxiety because of it. I don't have to. Anytime I hear a helicopter fly over the house, it doesn't really bother me too much. You hear a knock at the door, you're not too bothered. I can have visitors again without being concerned about the smell, and it makes a difference, man. When it's legal and when it's illegal. Growing illegally it's stress inducing, brings a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of pressure. There's certain sacrifices you have to make. So you can't go on holiday and be like, get a friend round. Just water these a couple of times a week for me, will you? There's lots of things.
Even
you have to
worse
sacrifice.
in Coco.
Could
you come around three times a day?
Balance the water for me before you do anything.
Get these nutrients, put 1.5 milliliter per liter into this bucket, stir it up real good, and then pH it to 5.8. Don't forget to collect the runoff afterwards.
Make sure that humidity stays where we want it.
Oh, goodness.
It will only take a few minutes.
And this is a good con that Billy brought up as well. Billy Barnes in the chat there said, carrying the water, getting the water, especially growing indoors, getting the water to your plants and watering them. That can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you have a disability, you have bad back, bad knees, things like that, where you can't carry heavy weights. Then getting water from the bathroom, for example, or the kitchen into your grow room can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Hadn't even thought of that one before. That's so true.
It doesn't grow itself, So I know we go on about it's really easy sometimes, and it is really easy. If you got some autos with some living soil, big pots, you're only going to have to water it for 12 weeks, not even add any food, and you should be able to get to the end of the grow, which is reasonably easy, but you still have to water it.
Yeah, and autos shock so quickly, so easily. There's other downfalls to that. Here in Ontario last year, for outdoor growers across the board, there was the issue of weather. If you go outdoors, you have no control over the weather, and we had the most humid, wet leading up to harvest that everybody had mold. Everybody had power. It was like, I thought it was me, and everybody had it.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing here.
And you
Last
can't do
season here was just
that.
shocking.
Yeah.
What other cons do we have? What's the cons of growing? What's the bad things about growing? The electricity costs, bro.
Yeah, I was going to put cost down there, but you know,
Yeah.
it's a pro and a con because you know for what you're going to get, even if the
Mhm,
electricity costs are high and your nutrients and soils or cost you money, I still say you're going to get more than your money's back in
For sure,
cannabis.
for sure.
Yeah,
I got
but
one.
There
it's
is a
initial-
cost.
It's that initial startup cost, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
when you have to go and buy $300 or $400 worth of stuff. Right?
But the LED lights, isn't that less electricity? Says the electrician's wife.
Yeah, yeah.
About about a third or a half, you know,
Up to
in that zone.
50%. Yeah.
Yeah, up
Um,
50% or more, I think, probably than
Unless
HID.
you're a menace like me and throw in fucking big LED lamps in there just cause.
But I've got one which is quite often overlooked. The noise.
I guess it
All
is
these
something
fans
there.
make noise, man.
Let's just
and-
go with environmental in general there, because you're gonna have noise and you're also gonna have odor,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. hmm
You can also have the environmental impact because unfortunately, not every grower disposes of their stuff
Oh,
responsibly.
good one. Yes,
Mhm,
chemicals.
mhm.
Right.
That's
So if
right.
you are growing with fertilizers with chemicals and you're draining that into your regular, into your kitchen sink,
Down the
Yeah.
toilet.
Going into
down
the
a
water
toilet,
table.
right? Or if you're dumping it out in your yard and it's going into the basically back out to the river.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
gets into the
Mhm.
river and then it feeds all the algae. The algae grows thick. The plants
Mine
underneath
goes to my
die.
house. Mine goes to outdoor container plants. They love it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
everybody's responsible or even thinks about something like that.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
think
to me, it was
growing-
like cost effective though. I get extra use out of my waste chemicals that way.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
everybody's as smart as you.
I don't know about being smart. My missus would argue with you there, but
Not everybody's as cheap as you.
that she would say.
There's so many cons, really, but there is way more pros, man.
Yeah.
Even when growing it illegally, if you enjoy cannabis, this is the best way for you to get it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's safer
Biggest-
to get, safer to use, much cheaper.
and it
biggest
changes your
pro.
experience with it,
Yeah.
right? Like your
And we're
experience and
into it.
appreciation for cannabis changes once you start
Mhm,
growing. Even
mhm.
if you grow and you grow one season, you never grow again. You're like, shit, I understand what it took for me to grow that one little plant.
Mhm. But the pros that we've mentioned are across the board consistent. The cons are things that can be fixed. So like there's that one-time cost of getting set up, or maybe one year you get mold, so you learn how to deal with that, or
Mhm.
you get thrift, you learn how to deal with that. That is a con, but it's a con that can be overcome.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what learning is, right? Like learning is knowing nothing and then screwing something up and then doing it again, but like fixing one piece of it.
Mhm.
And like that's how you learn. Then eventually you're just like, oh, I do things correctly
Can
now.
you tell my children? Didn't work the first time. It sucks.
Yeah, don't take a 9-year-old mentality.
I mean, the biggest plus on it all, though, to me, if I had to choose just the one, it was going to actually be the quality of your home grow. I mean, there's just nothing like your own home grow. I know we've said this before and we keep saying it over and over, but if you've never grown your own, you don't know what real good homegrown fresh cannabis is like.
Mhm.
It's an amazing thing.
Nothing like it, man. It's nothing like
No.
your own homegrown.
No, the terpene levels in your home grow are going to exceed anything you'll find in a dispensary. The flavors are there, everything. So,
Speaking of terpenes, I'm firing up this mighty.
lemon
Say-
tree's on the way.
No, it's that CBD cream and cheese, man. It's got like it's because it's been curing for a while. It's got a kind of a bubblegum kind of taste to it now. It's so fucking nice, man.
Mm.
See, that's what we're talking about with your homegrown cannabis. You get all this subtle flavors that
I
come
mean,
out.
And curing, this is something that doesn't really happen with weed you'll buy elsewhere. Nobody
Yeah,
cures
good
it.
point.
That's true. It's very quick to cure, right?
Chopped,
And they're kind
dried
of
as quickly as possible and sent out to the buyer. Simple as that.
that's right. In hopes that the curing is happening, somehow magically happening in that packaging.
We should. I don't.
Which
know.
it doesn't. That's not a thing.
How about a con? Burping. Like once you got everything started up and you got weeks of like burp. I had 2 babies. I'm done fucking burping. Like, how did I burp my?
That's a good
Well, I
one.
mean, there's ways to get around the burping problems, but yeah, I know what you mean. There is effort. There's a lot of effort that has to go in that.
There's a good con as well, is the shrinkage. I'm not talking about cold day shrinkage. I'm talking
I know
about
exactly what
You
you're
know,
talking
I was
about.
gonna say that.
This monster juicy colas that are the size of soft drink cans, and then you get them, 2 weeks later, they're
I can't
1/3 of that
believe it.
size.
There's got to be
What
100
happened?
ounces there.
I promise you, it's 8 inches. Yeah, I promise you.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, man. The shrinkage is a bad one. Mold's a bad one. Finding seeds in your bud is a bad one.
It
Mhm.
doesn't bother me too much if there's only a few seeds, because I kind of look at
Mhm.
that as, hey, bonus, I grow again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's just one or two here or there.
It's all attitude's everything.
Mm-hmm. Crazy
Yeah, that's
shit.
very true. Your perspective, but that's like with a lot of things in life, right? Like the attitude you come into it with is what you get out.
But that's like
Yeah.
how I've been growing the same lemon haze for years. Is I always get a handful of seeds, and they get set aside, and I grow them and kill the boys, and we're good to go. So a few seeds, not so bad.
No.
Perspective.
Yeah, man. So I think we can all agree that the pros far outweigh the cons. And
I think we have
if you're
agreed on
not
that.
already growing, then you need to be. And there's plenty
Yeah.
of help out there available to you, over on percysgrowroom.com specifically. Head
Yeah,
over
if
there, we
you're-
can help you.
If your con is you don't know how to, we can fix that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you two guys are really good to have in everybody's corner, and to be able to reach out. That's the other thing. As a pro, you're in this community, there's always going to be somebody who's like, yes, I will help you, no charge, just pride of the plant.
That's
Mhm.
right.
And that's
Yeah.
part of the community.
Mhm.
We have a whole community of people over at Percy's that will, if you ask questions, they will try to help you and get you through harvest, just because we love the plant that much.
Yeah,
Because
and if
we
you
don't want
wanna
to see you raise sick cannabis plants. We love them all. Please.
Oh, we want you to raise some sick cannabis, man.
That's right.
That's all I can think of is banana
God.
hammock.
Oh my gosh.
We're back there again.
Guess what you guys
Bubba
get for
I had to
Christmas
sneak
is
off as
highlight.
well. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hi, ladies. Hi, ladies. Hammocks.
Look at these banana hammocks.
Oh my gosh.
I could see somebody getting arrested wearing that one.
And that's when we like add the visual element. You guys would have to reveal yourself at that point.
The camera from the waist down only.
Yeah. There'll be like all the chicks on the Instagram
Yeah.
smoking bongs in their panties. We don't do that.
No,
Mhm.
we smoke bongs in our.
And you still got to 9K followers. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
that's-
proud.
Yeah.
Really
Nice.
proud.
Just imagine if they did smoke weed in their panties, they'd be up like 19.
Added 0 to that shit, bro.
I had to do it. Sorry, girls. Sorry about that.
Leave that to your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like that actually. Bazinga, yeah.
So
you can ruminate on that. What was it, Fat Larry, who likes us being on the show? Was it something like
Fat
that?
Stan, Fat Stan.
Fat
I think it was
Stan.
anyway. Yeah.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
So yes, lots of pros and cons, everybody. And if you can think of any more pros and cons that you think we didn't cover, then jump over on Percys Grow Room and let us know. What's your favorite thing about growing cannabis, man? Put it in the comments underneath this video. And what's your favorite thing and what's your least favorite thing? That'll be interesting to know.
Mhm.
But we should move on to some of these listener questions because we have quite a few this week. And I'd like to cover as many of them as possible, except the one from Billy. But we'll still cover it, Billy, because it's you, bro. Let's go on to the first one's from Filmy Bowls. Who, if you're outside smoking your favorite cannabis while attending your beautiful plants and mosquitoes are having you for dinner, would they get high on your blood? And do you think they would hang around and look forward to having your THC blood for their next picnic? I don't know. I would think maybe it's like an edible to them. Do you think?
I don't know. It sounds like a cartoon. I've seen something or that. Somebody like a mosquito biting a drunk and getting tipsy or something like that. You know, it's like I don't think it works that way. But
at this point, are we essentially decarboxylating cannabis for mosquitoes?
well, let's do the science here. Okay. So let's say you had 1% THC in your blood. I know that's an extremely high number, but it works for me. And a mosquito is going to take a tiny drop of that and it's going to put that in their body. So 1% is going to go in their body. It's going to be diluted probably 1,000 times or 100 times. So my answer is going to be no, because they didn't have enough blood. They didn't intake enough blood.
What's your opinion, hi ladies? And they're like, what the fuck kind of question is this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not answering that one.
I don't think I even have an answer for it. I'm just gonna go with a generic no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
No, yeah, we're just gonna go with a no. I can't even entertain it.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Blazing Stars just said in chat, mosquitoes don't have an endocannabinoid system. Only mammals do. Very good point. Very good point.
Touche.
So there you go. I hope that answers your question for me, Bubbles. Thank you for the question there. We have one from Billy. This one shouldn't take long. If you steal Viagra, would that make you a hardened criminal?
Only if you use the Viagra after you steal it.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're running off after you've stolen it, filling your mouth with handfuls of Viagra, then definitely you'll be a hardened criminal, bro. And what do you ladies think?
Probably explode.
But you'd still be hardened.
You'd still be hardened. What a way to go.
You know, imagine being carried away on that stretcher. It looks like a tent poles, you know,
tent poles.
An 8 inches high tent pole for you, monkey, right?
I promise it's 8 inches. Yes.
We got science in chat. Yeah, we had actual science there for a second. Did you see it? So yeah, thank you, Billy. I hope that one answers your question too, bro. Stonewolf, we got a couple from Stonewolf here. What practices do the panel members perform towards late flower / harvest? Any tricks or tips for finishing off your flowers for the best flavor and terpene production? Maybe some light humidity temp changes. Do you assist with defoliation as senescence sets in? Certain feeds if you're not flushing. The grow guides have been most helpful, but I'm curious as to what members do to finish off their harvest. Anything that would help amateur or advanced members alike.
Cool.
So just keep happy plants, man. If you keep them plants happy, they will produce the best cannabis you can think of. I'm not too much of a believer in all of this bro science and, you know, add ice to the bucket and it'll make you a weed more public. You know, all this crazy shit, man. Keep the plant happy and she will produce what you want her to produce.
Now, because I'm cocoa growing still, I do have certain additives that I use toward the end of the growth. Like I'll switch from PK into an overdrive, which has other, you know, hormones and whatnot in it to kind of fatten those buds up a little bit and give them a little more flavor. I've also been experimenting with some teas through flower to try, because I'm a salt grower. I'm trying to get some organic compounds back into the buds for better flavor. That seems to be helping.
Yeah, they apparently like bacteria towards the end.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I'm doing is also adding through flower and all the way in through late flower is using soil drenches of both lactobacillus and JMS, which is a Korean natural farming technique, but simply to add microbes into the equation there. This is all something that was brought up by Chris Trump, and I have to say, so far it's working. It seems to be working. This question about pulling leaves to aid senescence, I'd say no, I don't do that. The only time I pull leaves in flower is if I'm trying to increase airflow. If the, you know, it's too thick in there and I'm worried about air coming through and bud rot, I will do a little bit of defoliation, but mostly I feel like the plant needs those leaves. It's going to actually, toward the end of flower, it's going to eat those leaves and put all that energy right into those buds. And when they're ready to come off, the leaves will fall by themselves. You'll just pick them up out of the pot at the end. So, I mean, I'll give you that. But no, it really does. For me, experimenting with a few different additives, the microbes and organics at the end. But other than that, no temperature changes. I think I stopped watering probably 2 days before I pull it in cocoa, which is, you know, basically skipping a day of watering. So no big deal there. I don't know, Mackie, is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't know really. I mean, I used to when I was in cocoa, I'd add batshit because batshit is apparently really good for flavor. So, but that's just apparently. I have no proof whether it works or not. You know,
No,
but,
I've never tasted bad shit myself, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, it stopped with the whole Corona thing. You know, a spoonful of batshit helps the medicine go down, but you know, it's it's kind of banned now.
Well, let's ask the high ladies. Do they have any tips for late flower flavors or tips or ripening or anything?
Well, we've been really relying on our local home growing shop, our local grow shop, because they do a beautiful compost tea. And I'm trying myself to move away from chemicals. I don't know what they are. And the guys at Overgrown Hydroponics make it beautiful tea. And I am seeing real benefits to my plants.
Likewise.
And again, but knowing people in your community who are doing it right.
That's right. And these guys will make like they're making teas right now specifically for the flowering stage.
Yeah. So you gotta pick it up, get it on your plants. It only is gonna last a
12
day.
hours or something.
It's very organic and very natural. And again, like if I'm putting something in my plant, I want to know that it's good stuff. And these guys are like real OCD, really into their teas.
Yeah.
I trust them. And so it takes out the worry for me of, am I going to burn my plants? Is this, what the hell is this? And then am I going to flush enough? You don't have to be so worried about flushing.
Compost teas are always a good thing to have, man.
Yeah.
Just especially if you can buy it locally, if it's made locally as well, because it have the local microbes in and shit like that.
Yeah,
plants love that shit, man. So yeah, just pretty much Stone Wolf. Just try it and keep the plants happy, and then say if you have 4 plants, experiment on one of them and see if that plant's different to everything else.
Yeah. My advice is what I basically did is I taught myself how to grow, and then after I figured out, okay, now I can get a yield. Let's experiment a little bit at a time with flavor, and tweak.
But the most important thing for flavor and in the smell of your weed is drying and curing it properly. That will do the biggest thing. You can seriously fuck shit up if you dry it within 3 days. Or if you dry it for 5 days and it feels like it's ready for cure, so you put it in a container, seal it up, and then visit again tomorrow and it's dripping wet again. It's like getting it wet the second time round will damage the terpenes, and the smell and flavor will be off because of that. So,
and you hear about people like, oh, microwave it or put it in the oven for
you. Oh my goodness.
No, don't do any of that. Like, you've waited for your entire grow process. It's taken months.
Never.
You can wait another week or 2. Come on now.
That's right. Just wait, man. Just wait. It'll be worth it.
I do understand, though, on the first grow, it was really, really hard to wait that first week even in the jar. It's like, oh, you really had to try that stuff because you've been waiting so long. And I know I cheated. I guarantee you more than half my harvest was gone before it was properly cured.
Yeah, and because it goes like that. I've done it before. Most experienced growers have done it before. This is why we tell you not to do it. So you'll get all these buds and there'll be shitloads deep. Like, no way, this is like an ounce of weed. I'll dry this, and you'll dry it in the oven or a toaster, the microwave, whatever, and it will shrink to smaller than anything you even fucking comprehending right now. It will be like 2 grams of weed, and it'll be shit.
Yeah, it will taste green.
Yep.
It's not
There's
worth
a reason.
it,
Yeah,
Right? There's a reason we dry and cure properly.
And flush. If you're using chemicals, you need to flush. I got an ounce of cannabis recently, smoked 1 joint, and I'm like, my tongue should not tingle. Instinctually, the tingling tongue is not is not the look I'm going for.
Well, flushing is a controversial one because some people think that you don't have to, especially if you haven't been overfeeding. But that's for a different topic altogether. That one.
But if you're using chemical fertilizers,
any kind of fertilizer, you know what? Honestly, for a week, just give it water.
Yeah,
that's what I do. That's me.
Like, why would you even risk it?
For tingling tongue.
Last week they get well water straight out the well. Done. Over.
Anyway, we have a second question here from Show Enough. My second question is a little bit more personal, but a bit of fun. If you could only have 2 strains from Ali Bongo, one daytime and one nighttime smoke, what would they be, and why would you choose them? The question comes as an inspiration from all of Mackie talking about lemon tree and Bubble Hawk's wedding cake. You guys making me draw on every 420. Okay,
God,
so
I have no. That's a hard one, man.
two
because-
strains, bro. And he just says at the end here as well, thanks for the epic show every week, legends. Don't stop the great content, good laughs, and supportive community. Thank you, Shonoff. Much appreciated. I'm glad you like the show, bro. But yeah, what would you have, Monkey? What's your top two? Top two?
Mine? Oh, geez, you're gonna start with me. Let's start with the high ladies.
Yeah, well, you come on. Yeah.
Well, you know, for my daytime, I'm going for my lemon haze.
I'm gonna,
Lovely.
for my daytime, I'm probably looking either an alien dog or
That blue
Or a
cheese
blue-
is fucking good.
yeah, that
Blue
cheese
cheese
was
is good, isn't it?
blue heron.
Mm,
Blue heron is another
blue heron.
yeah.
I don't know, blue cheese and Jack Harrow for me, maybe, but then I'd be gutted because I left my lemon tree behind. And
That's
I've
just
got
the
so much
problem is-
shit.
I'll share with you.
You got to qualify your answer is that this is this answer today. If you ask me again next week, it's going to be different.
Even
Yeah.
later on today, bro, it might change, you know.
It could. I mean, I would go daytime for Jack Herrera and
Mhm.
probably nighttime because I've talked about it a lot. Probably Pineapple Chunk because it's a jack of all trades for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm growing a straw nana right now that I'm really rather excited for. A friend of mine grew it last season, and it was scrumdiddlyumptious.
I think for going to sleep, I'm an edible person. I'm not usually an edible person because they put me to sleep. So if I do like a high THC edible, I'm done. So if I know I'm not going to sleep, that's my sleeping,
Mm. Yeah, see, I smoke a sativa to sleep,
which
so-
is weird.
No, it's
I don't-
fine. I mean, that's I have a friend who smokes indica and feels energized. So yeah, I get that.
exactly right. Like everybody reacts
To each
differently.
their own, yeah, yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So-
and we always talk about Lego weed, which is kind of an answer to this question too,
Mhm.
is we have our own personal different cannabises that make us be able to enjoy long periods of playing with our children.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
setting up domino tracks.
Yes.
Yeah, need Lego weed
Exactly.
for that.
Yeah, like strawberry cough would to me would be a good social weed because it makes me talkative and want to go out and just be around people. So, that would be good use for that one.
But it's hard to choose their Stone Wolf, man, just between two strains. You pick what you think
Yeah.
is best. Jack Herrera is always a good one. It's definitely something you should. If you haven't grown Jack Herrera yet, then give that a shot because it's the good shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised. That's sativa dominant, isn't it, Jack Herrera? And it don't feel like it.
It's
a very,
supposed to be balanced, but it all depends, But it's one of those that if I feel like I want to be energized, my mind can move it that way. Either way, if I want to chill, I'm good.
Mhm.
So,
So
yeah.
we have one from Aussie Jim. Yeah, I'll read it out. Hey Mackie, I'm not sure if you're interested in any show ideas, and please know it's just a suggestion, but I don't think I heard High and Homegrown do a show on different ways to consume their own homegrown. I think we did that, didn't we? It's like after we finished going through the whole growth thing, it's like what to do with your weed. I think we have done an episode on that. But he says, for example, I have bought a cheap dry herb vapes and never like them. It's a big problem there, Aussie Jim. So you buy the cheap ones and it don't work, man. When you get the mighty, different story to everything else. But he said, let me finish the question. I'm fucking just going off on tangents mid-question. Had I known about the difference between cheap and the mighty, I would have owned a mighty sooner. Also, bongs. I have two cheap glass bongs that aren't nice to use. And until my third, much more expensive hand glass blown bong, I thought that bongs weren't meant to be like that. Also seen video of Frenchie using a special made glass hash pipe with holes around the rim on the bowl. Could be a lot to talk about there. Cheers. We're always open to suggestions for grow guides, man. If you have any suggestions or you want to hear us discuss a particular topic, then let us know over on percysgrowroom.com and we can add that to the list of episodes that we'll potentially cover in the future. We're always looking for ideas. So if you have any, let us know, man. Either because he said there. Well, I don't think I don't know. I'm not sure if you're interested. And it's like, yeah, we're interested, man. We make this show for the listeners. So if you guys, the listeners of the show, have something that you'd want us to discuss, let us know and we will do it, man. That's how we roll. We make this shit for you. So let us know what you want and we'll make it. And as for the vapes, yeah, in my opinion, I've tried cheap vapes before and they were shit. Didn't like vapes. But then when I got the Mighty, which is a heavy investment, but you can buy it from Alibongo, got Alibongo, use the 15% discount code, which is Percys 15, all in capital letters, and you'll get like 45 quid off when you buy the Mighty. So it's a hefty saving as well. Highly recommended. You hear how much me, Monkey, Bubble Hawk also has a Mighty. Do you have a Mighty high, ladies?
No,
No,
but
right.
I'm getting very interested.
Right? We're taking notes.
It's the shit, man. All of our vapes are shit, and you will not taste weed any other way than what you'll taste it in the Mighty. It's completely different. There's no burn to it. It's just all fucking flavor, just delicious terpenes. Get one.
I especially
Get one.
find like
We are not paid by Storrs and Bickel.
Yes, we're not. It's just they make good products, so we tell you about it.
Yep. And like as far as vaping, like I have had a hard time. I keep trying to do vape carts, and I find it's a flat high.
A cart
well,
scent the
this-
same
It
though. I
is,
don't think
it
it's
is.
not the same, is it?
Just distillate, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Doing dry vape.
yeah, there's no flavor, there's no terpenes, there's nothing. It's just straight THC.
I've tried
I
those
think
little
Marge
packs.
has a Mighty, right? Does Marge have a Mighty?
She has a PAX.
Yeah, she got something else, hasn't she?
and
Mhm.
something else.
PAX is-
Dynavape, I think she has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried the PAX dry vape, and I do like it.
I've tried the Dynavape, it's not my favorite,
Mhm.
but the dry herb is nice.
Yeah, man. The Mighty's the shit. I love my Mighty. It's
Yeah, the Mighty's
very
not the
tasty.
most attractively designed thing. It's kind of, odd looking, but it works.
I have seen them. Not very discreet.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, they make the Plenty, which is the Crafty and the Plenty, which are going to be your smaller versions of down there, but the battery life is only half of what the Mighty's going to be. And I can drain. I mean, if you're a real weed smoker, you can drain the battery on a Mighty pretty good.
And then when it comes to anything like that, I know it sounds fucking stupid, but the more you pay, the better. You pay for what you get. You get what you pay for.
yeah.
That's the one I'm looking for. Innit?
Yeah.
Thank you, Monkey. It's like you pay the price. I know sometimes things can be extra expensive for no good reason, but if they weren't good enough, then people wouldn't buy them for those prices, and the price will fall. So
Yeah.
if you want the good shit, spoil yourself, man. Don't buy yourself a bong for 100 quid. And it's like 100 quid on a fucking bong. It's like, yes. And then you'll have a high quality bong, man.
Well, see, with all the money I save on homegrown, I can afford to do those things.
Ed Rosenthal said, remember on that interview, Ed Rosenthal said, you got to stop thinking things in terms of money. It's like, how much weed does it cost? It's like £100 bong. It costs you half an ounce of weed.
Ooh, that puts into perspective.
Oh yeah, that's a perspective shift.
Yeah, man. Good old Ed Rosenthal. He's full of knowledge, that guy. We should get him back on the show. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while.
I think I'm going to have to do what Amanda did. I'm going to have to follow her lead and grab a Happle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, one of those Happles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
hash time's coming up. It's getting cold weather's coming. That's when I usually run my hash. I'm going to have to think about that one.
We have another one here from B Mooney, which we picked up earlier in the show. How long before chop do you do your last watering? Monkey, what are you saying? You say a couple of days?
I usually do like 24 hours without water and cocoa is enough for me. But I'm like we mentioned earlier, last week is just water for me and cocoa. And then 24 hours before chop is completely no water the last day. And then down she comes the next morning before the lights come on.
And what about high ladies? What do you think? Do you water your plants before you harvest them?
Well, I've been only growing outdoors
Right.
since our indoor space, the recording studio. And at home, I usually go 2 days. When I harvest up north, it's usually a guerrilla thing where I have to get up there and get her done.
Yeah.
So I try and, keep an eye on the weather and go accordingly, but I'm sort of at the mercy of nature up there. But I'd say 2 days.
Yeah, you usually wait for a rainfall and then go up 2 days later.
Yeah, like a good hefty rainfall. I'll plan to go up 2 days later. Then I'm also always chasing the frost because we are quite north here. So I'm trying to beat the frost, but not harvest too early. So it's sort of a tango. But at home where I have a little bit more control, I'd say I don't do any fertilizer or anything for the last week at least. And 2 days, yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of days is fine. Just don't. When you water the plant, it's going to pull water from the soil and pull it into the plant, so it's going to be a little bit more wet. But I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. So if you watered it earlier on and now you have time to harvest it and you want to get it done, then do it, man. But I wouldn't.
I'm not a fussy grower. I'm really, and I sometimes think that's my downfall, is like I have friends who are really on it all the time, where I'm like, dude, I gave them love. Like, I can't be there all the time. I will try and read them and listen to them, and they will tell me when this has to happen, and I'll be, but I just can't get too OCD about it.
But it's like I said earlier, keep the plant happy. Don't like leave it 5 days and have it dehydrate so it's unhappy, because that will produce lower quality weed. Keep the plant happy until you chop it down. So just whatever the plant asks for, give it the nutrients it needs.
I like what Annie said though about not being OCD about the thing. I used to be OCD when I first started growing, worried about every last thing. Yeah. And these days I'm more like, oh, did I water it? It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow.
They're tough.
And sometimes you want them to be tough. Like sometimes, a little bit of tough love is good for all of us.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I pamper my girls, but I just don't freak out anymore.
Yeah. They're strong. They're strong, those girls.
Yeah.
So we have just a couple more, but both from Noxie here. Noxie asks, question, how do you deal with yellowing in early flower? Also, how to foliar feed? Do I need to pH the water? How much Epsom salts should I mix in? And that's a great way to stop yellowing in early flower. And the science to it apparently is calcium and magnesium need each other, because the magnesium helps the calcium move around the plant to where it's needed. But the plant will use up more calcium than it does magnesium, or they use it more. Well, it's going to use up one or the other more.
Yeah, magnesium is soluble, so it washes out of your media faster.
Yeah. So, and then when you foliar feed with the Epsom salt, which is 100% magnesium, there's magnesium sulfate in it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So when you spray that, it delivers the magnesium directly to the plant, and then the magnesium can help all the calcium get around the plant, and then it's all happy. You don't suffer with these issues. And to prevent that happening in early flower, when it's late veg, like 5-6 weeks into veg, then you should give it a good spray of Epsom salts to deliver more magnesium to the plant, and then you shouldn't see the yellowing in early flower. If you do see the yellowing in early flower after that, it's because you haven't added enough PK, and it needs some more PK to move into that process of the growth.
Yeah, my reminder is when I flip, I do the spray with Epsom salt, or the last I'll do it is like a week after I flip, before the buds form.
Yeah.
But that's my reminder. Okay, I'm flipping today. I need to go ahead and spray.
Yeah, just preventative.
Yeah, it is. Get the magnesium in the plant, get the plant boosted,
That's right. Nice Epsom salt spray, a bit extra on the PK, and you shouldn't see much yellowing after that, mate. Is that what you ladies do when you're growing outdoors, or do you just leave it to do what happens in the ground?
I just leave it to be, but I've been hearing more about this Epsom salts, and I have to look into it because, it can't hurt. But again, I'm just, I keep an eye out, make sure that nothing is, no bud rot, no mold. And beyond that, I'm just doing my compost tea. But I'm gonna have to look at what is the dilution rate of that.
That's the question I was asked then. I use a third of a teaspoon in a liter of water. So it's only a small bit. It's not very much. So go with that. And it doesn't need to be pH'd either, as long as the water's around neutral. If you've got like really acidic water, then pH it as well. It won't do much harm. And spray the plant healthily as well, top of the leaves and underneath as well, not just don't just lightly spray them, fucking rinse them, man, so they're dripping.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
But don't have the lights on too. Yeah.
Well, if she's outdoors, no big deal.
Yeah, if you're outdoors, you'll be fine. Yeah, just spray them. They'll love it. It's good shit. And then one more question from Noxie. He says, any way to boost growth in early veg? Keep plants happy, bro. Make sure they've got big enough pots.
The answer is, yeah, you can. I mean, you just gotta, find out what they need. Like Mackie says, I mean, yeah, you can do some foliar feeds and early veg that will help. Early veg, your plants are trying to develop a root system, and until they get that root system all solid, they're really not going to put a lot of energy into growing. So you can foliar feed, and that will supplement a little bit of nutrition to help get a little bit more leaf while the roots are still forming. But you have to be careful when you're doing this, because you're pushing a very young plant that's really not ready to grow yet.
Yeah. Just try and keep the plant happy, give it the right food, Give it the right amount of water it needs. And when the plant's happy, it will grow more and faster. There's nothing really you can do to force it. Make sure it's got everything it needs and it'll do its own thing.
Yeah, I use a seaweed tea is what helps my plants grow a little bit in the early veg. But again, be careful with it. Experiment. That's what you have to do. Play around a bit. Early, I think rhizo would probably also fall into the category of helping early growth.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Rhizotonic or kangaroo roots or anything like that that's going to boost your root system going up. I guess great white, something like that.
Microbes, man. Microbes,
man. It's all of that stuff has got microbes in it.
What about you, ladies? Is there anything you do to boost your growth in early veg?
Again, just, fertilizing, but I can't say it enough. Err on the side of less is more. Talking your plants early on is very detrimental. And I have done that out of overlove. And I think you briefly mentioned it earlier. Like if it says you're going to put, 3 tablespoons to 2 gallons or whatever, start a little bit less.
A quarter, we go for a quarter. That we recommend to everybody. You go for a quarter. It's a lot easier to fix a plant that hasn't been fed enough than it is to fix a plant that's been fed too much.
And especially early on when they're so fragile, you can really, do some irreversible damage because they go into shock and they start working on repairing themselves and dealing with this onslaught, and they're not growing. So you're actually ending up doing the opposite of what you want to do.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more.
So I think that's about it, right? That's all the questions we have.
Oh,
that's the pros and cons pretty much sorted. The news
I feel
is
like
done.
we covered a lot of ground.
Sorry?
I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
We did. That was a long one, I think. That's like an hour of grow guides there.
At least, yeah.
So everybody hit your shit, man. That's what's kind of done.
Depends where you are. If you're in England, it's like an hour and 2 minutes.
It's not even everybody in England. It's just me. And there we go, everybody. Thank you very much for downloading and listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned some things. On this week's episode, which is going to be live on our YouTube channel on Sunday, just go to youtube.com/highandhomegrown and you'll be able to watch the show live. We're going to answer just listener mail. So Grow Guides next week is going to be listener mail questions. If you have any questions regarding growing cannabis, then head over to the live stream, or you can even go to percysgrowroom.com. We have a thread there specifically for listener mail questions, and you can ask us any question you like and we'll cover it on the show on Sunday. So it's going to be a super cool episode, lots of listener interaction, and we hope you can be there to be involved with the show as well. That would be cool. But for now, again, thank you for downloading the show. Thank you for listening. It would be great if you could share this episode with a friend or somebody who's interested in learning how to grow. But for now, that's it for this week. We'll catch you on Sunday for the live show, and then on Monday with the cannabis news and events. So have a great weekend, everybody. Stay high and stay safe, and we'll see you on Sunday for the live show. Goodbye.